Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Generation Selects line. This is Kraken, also known in North America as Sea-Wing, and Lobclow, which I think is supposed to be Lobclaw, also known I think as Nautilator. I got these figures from TF Source, and unfortunately they're sold out right now, which I'm a little disappointed about because the first two figures in the Seacon sets I got from the Big Bad Toy Store, and those are delayed because I think they were getting them from Hasbro Pulse, which have been delayed, among other things, due to the coronavirus going on. So if you like to get your Seacons, and yes, that's pronounced Seacons, not Seacons, as some people do, head on over to TF Source. Try to get some pre-orders in on the next wave of figures, and hopefully they'll have the earlier figures, including these two, in stock. Now, both of these figures are based on the Japanese Master Force cartoon design, which is the only animation they really appeared in, which is why we're using their Japanese names. And interestingly enough, for those of you not familiar with the history, Kraken and Lobclaw were drones, mindless drones. You never saw them in robot mode, that were controlled by Turtler, also known as Snaptrap, to form King Poseidon, also known as Piranacon, or Piranha King, excuse me. So yeah, these are combiners, so they form a arm and a leg, but they're also target masters. So each one has a weapon mode. So we're going to take a look at that all in this review. And we're going to start by taking a look at Kraken. So give it a second, and we will release the Kraken. God, I love that. Okay, so here's Kraken. Very nice looking bipedal manta ray. The extra weapons, including his melee weapon, can be combined with the giant hand of Piranacon, or King Poseidon, and stored on the figure's back. That is something nice that it can do. Other than that, you do have these two guns underneath the wings. Those were the original toys weapons. Now they're just really used for the combined weapon mode, but you can still be used by the robot as well. You have a lot of options in terms of weapons with these figures. Now, to do the review, we're going to go from sea monster mode to leg mode to weapon mode to arm mode, and then finishing off in robot mode. That's actually the easiest way to do it. With at least with the two I have, leg mode and weapon mode are basically the same. So to start, what you want to do is come in and remove these guns. And interestingly enough, would you believe that Sea-Wing is the third use of the Power of the Prime swoop mold? So, and it holds together quite well, at least thus far. So we went ahead and did that. Fold up the legs here, just like so. Get them out of the way. And then while you're down here, come in and flip up the tail. Rotate the whole waist section around. Now you're going to come up to the head, and you're going to detach the front of the off to the side like that. Give you a little room to work with. Go ahead and bring this front section down. Fold down those side panels, and basically what you're doing is bringing down. You want to make sure you keep the robot head in place, and then just bring this down like, actually, you want to bring this down all the way like that and like that, so it's kind of sitting like so. Bring the arms down, and if you remember the swoop figure, there are tabs here on the elbows that will peg into these slots here on the side. So you want to rotate them down, around, like so, and they will just go into what I guess you can say would be the rib cage, just like that. It's a very sturdy mode. So now you'll just fold up the arms, the wings ever so slightly, and there are tabs on the shoulders that they will peg into. Come around the back here. Oh, before you do that, you might have to move the wings out a little bit just to be able to have some clearance to flip the combiner port up. So what we'll do now is come over to the weapon block, and you want to take this gun and take the two side pieces, peg them in, just like so, forming this very nice combined weapon. Yes, you can hold it in robot mode, and peg it into the front, just like oh, you know what, I have a little bit of a problem, but it's okay, I can show you how to fix it right now. What you want to do, make sure, is with these little side vents, the side fins that form part of the head, there's some blue tabs that they have to peg into that will actually hold them in place so the front of the head doesn't droop down. I must have knocked them loose, but hey, we don't make mistakes, we have happy accidents. So go ahead and, as I was saying, peg this on, just like so. And there you have, for the most part, the leg mode. If you were to go ahead and have Turtler, you can combine the feet. They peg in just like so. Into this hand would peg into the back. So, very nice. Easy peasy, lemony squeezy. Now to go to weapon mode, it's actually, like I said, very easy. Bring that down. That will be the handle. And then plug this whole weapon contraption into the base. And there you go. No muss, no fuss. Now, the way they show you the hand connecting is, these are Power of the Prime style hands, fully articulated, by the way. Well, not fully articulated. You have one joint in the finger, so you can, do silly things. But it does. You can pop out that little midsection, and yes, you can still use it as a hand blaster. And now they show having this peg down, and I mentioned that, and it just will, the combiner port will peg into that port. And I mentioned that because a lot of people are saying that the weapons are going to attach via the back of the hand, which is very possible. But what I'm getting the feeling of is that they will peg into the hole right here in the hand and be held as a traditional weapon. But we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Now, moving on, we want to remove that. Put the piece back in so you don't lose it. Remove the gun, and we're going to move on to arm mode. And believe it or not, arm mode is actually not that hard to get to from here. Go ahead and separate the legs. You might have to, if you so desire, you can move the wings around and out of the way. But you want to bring them down. And this is how I figured out it was actually a retool of that swoop mold, because of how the legs connect. And you want to make sure everything locks up quite nicely. They're about pretty good. And you know what? I don't think that one's in. That one's in. Yep. Make sure the tail reconnects. However, whatever arm you're going to have it bend that way, just like so, and bring the hand in. And here's the thing with the thumb, it actually is on a double hinge, so you can actually swing it all the way over and have it sit a little more naturally. But now peg the head into that combiner spot. You might just the force have to push the legs together. But there you go. There is Kraken's arm mode. And I think traditionally Kraken is an arm, so that's pretty much how I'll be using it. Now, to continue on into robot mode, bring the legs, so these yellow bits, which are the kneecaps, face forward, flip down the combiner port, open up the wings, separate the legs, detach the arms from the side there, bring this section back up so this blue clip sits upward. You're going to have to open up that chest piece, so you want to flip out that panel, bring the head, the small robot head back so it'll peg into place, close it up again, go into the side here, and with your nails, flip out the hands if you can. Oh, there we go. Just like so. Just like so. You can position the wings out a little if you so desire. And now for the weapons. You are meant to reattach the guns here. They do peg in quite snugly, or you can have them hold them. That's entirely up to you. I like having options. I do enjoy the combined mode. You can put that blaster there and bring in its little cutting blade thingamabob that will be part of the larger edged weapon sword for Piranacon or King Poseidon. And there we have Kraken in its robot mode. All in all, I think it's a fantastic figure. Everything is tight, which I am very impressed with, since this is, as I said, the third use of a mold. Fourth, if you count that red swoop repaint, depending on how you look at it. So, yeah, definitely really digging this figure. I actually never had the Seacons as a kid. Somewhere I have the Big Bad Toy Store commemorative reissue set, which I never opened because I heard there was a lot of mold issues, etc., etc., etc. with it, and never really wanted to deal with it. So we'll pause for just a quick second and take a look at Lobclaw. Okay, here's Lobclaw in its lobster mode. Robotic lobster, monster lobster mode. Monster lobster, do-do-do-do. Okay, and much like Kraken, the weapons do store on its beast mode. This one, the little panel tends to come off a little faster, so you can remove that. And since I do believe this figure is meant to be a retool of a Blot, you do have that little fold down panel underneath where you can store its axe. A few complaints about the mold. Since I've had it, I've transformed it a few times. These panels that the lobster legs are on tend to loosen up. And as you'll see as we go through the transformation, the robot head is incredibly loose. I have no idea what I did to cause that to happen. It was like literally I transformed it once. I went to transform it again, and it loosened up. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Your mileage may vary. And that's something with all these figures. Your mileage may vary. Other than that head and the little legs here, which are, you know, you put it down, it holds in place. The joints on these figures are very tight. Not like the usual second or third mold syndrome. But again, that's me. Yours might be different. And at $40 a pop for a deluxe, you might have an issue with that. To start the transformation into leg mode, you want to go ahead and remove the tail section. That will be a weapon for robot mode and part of the various limb modes. Go ahead and fold down these leg sections. They will peg quite nicely into slots on the inside of the leg. Go ahead and then just fold the legs up and in all the way, just like that. Get the lobster arm claws out of the way. open up this head section, and it does make a little scary pop when you do it. I don't know why. Oh, and forgot to mention the monster mouth can open just like that, and it's a nice painted tongue. Since we're going into a leg mode, you want to try to keep the head facing forward, rotate the whole combiner port around. And now when you go to fold the head up, what you want to do is work these series of hinges into position where that blue section is actually has the hole facing down, because you're going to peg the tail back into it. Bring the shoulders up all the way. So you want to just and also make sure they're all the way down on their hinge. It's like a double hinge there. And you're going to bring the claws around so they're facing backward, and on the tip of the claw is a slot that will peg into a fin on the back of the head, and just like so. And since these are on ball joints, you might want to adjust the shoulders so they look a little more symmetrical. We're almost done with the crustacean mode. What you want to do is take the weapon here, tail piece, and flip it out ever so slightly, so it's this part is sticking up, and you're going to shove it into, peg it in, shouldn't say shove, into that slot there, and you might have a little something here with the claws will pop out a little, but they'll still. You want to. You basically what you want is that to cover up the opening there, and gotta get that claw piece back in. Just like that, and maybe not press it in so tightly, but you know, you got to make sure it sits. All right, there we go. This claw is fine. That claw wants to constantly pop out, and I'm not having it. Yeah, as you can see, I'm having a little. There we go. Oh no, wait, no, that one came out. It wouldn't. There's like a little lip on that right above that slot, which is what's causing some of the problems. But there we go. We got it. Again, that's the leg mode. I'll be honest with you, that would probably be the mode I'm going to use the most with it. Just because, as we'll see in arm mode, the legs will get in the way. And again, if you had the feet from Turtler, you peg the hand in and you have the complete foot. So now to do the weapon mode, we're going to bring this in, pull that piece out, flip it out all the way so it goes into its weapon mode. You're going to peg that into this extra gun. And now, as with, you know, it's basically you just got to flip the port around. But because of the nature of this back head, you actually need to come forward. And this is where the instructions kind of do a little disservice. Because if you follow the instructions, which I will show you now as I'm rotating the robot head around, they kind of show you having that blue piece tucked up normally, and you want to come in and you like more down on an angle, which if you do that, it will actually press up against the robot head and cause that peg to be on an angle. So really what you have to do is keep it out and up That way the peg will sit flat, and then just go back and reconnect the lobster claws as we had them, and then keep everything folded up, and then pegging this in using the port on the smaller weapon. There's the gun mode. I think it's called the Jawbreaker Cannon. That's what it was originally called. It was actually like a triple barrel shotgun. The original Nautilator Lobclaw's toy came with like a gray triple barrel cannon, which I guess this sort of looks like, but in its weapon mode was called the Jawbreaker Cannon. And depending on how it went, it was either a leg or it was used in the gun mode, depending on the continuity and what have you. Like I said, I'll probably be using this as either the gun or the leg. I think the proper gun is actually the shark one, whose name I can't remember right now. But yeah, so to go into robot mode, remove that. Bring the arms out. Just get them out of the way. Open up the leg section here. If you've done combiners before, you know this step. Separate the legs if they don't separate already. Rotate the figure around at the waist. Oh, you know what? I was going to show you I was just going to skip arm mode and go into robot mode, but you know what? It's not that bad. Keep the legs together. Rotate them out this way. And again, keep those crab mode crustacean claws in, have the port rotated down, and yeah, they actually tell you the arm mode is actually meant to be like this, so you're losing that double joint because of the crustacean legs. Make sure everything's folded up right. Bring that hand up and in. And also, much like on the leg mode, you want to take the tail and you're going to peg it into that head right there in its full weapon mode. And there's the arm. So yeah, I'm not going to use this in the arm mode. I'm losing that double joint. But I should mention, the hips feel very tight. So there is that. So go ahead and remove this. We'll continue on to robot mode. Now separate the legs like that. Unpeg the head. Swivel them around at the elbow. Just like that. Bring the head up. You're going to have to open up the back piece. And you can see that how loose it is. Close up the back section again. Detach the weapon. Take the inner claw, rotate it around. It will lock into place using friction. Pop that weapon in the hand. Grab the axe. And in the movements of all that, you saw the head just spun around. There's his head. And there's Lobclaw in its robot mode. I gotta say, between the two, I kind of enjoy Kraken a little bit more. But we'll pause, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. I'm sure some of you in the comments have already pointed it out, but with Kraken, I actually had the gun upside down. I dig these figures. I really dig them a lot. I think this is some great reworking between Hasbro and Takara. I think it shows what they can do when they put their minds to it. But again, these are just my figures. The joints are tight. We'll find out when we get to King Poseidon, Piranacon, if they can actually hold the Target Master weapon in any feasible manner. I also should mention, from looking at reviews of Turtler, that I think the gun that Turtler uses can be combined with these little extra weapons to form like a combined weapon. So you're going to have a lot of options with that figure in terms of armament. But like I said, but I do recommend them to pick them up. I mean, if you get two and they're garbage, give up because you'll probably have the poor luck of getting just loose jointed figures. But if they're solid like mine, definitely go in. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned in the beginning, because of the coronavirus thing going on, supplies of these figures are hard to come by. Hasbro Pulse has had to delay their orders to April, and will probably be delayed even further. I got these from TF Source because I think they're getting them straight from Japan. That's why I do not have Turtler and the other figure. I can't remember its name right now. The first set, because I have those pre-ordered at Big Bad Toy Store, and in fact, those were the only Seacons they had. So my gut is starting to tell me that I might be missing out on those, and I'll have to figure out another way of getting them. But I highly recommend them. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to try to keep pushing out some reviews since I know a lot of you are quarantined at home. Things have gone very crazy in the United States with the whole coronavirus thing. So if I can bring you a little joy or a little information, I'll do my best. If you can, please like this video, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. You know, a lot of my views come from people who aren't subscribers. So join the party. And really, if you can, and it's okay if you don't, because the algorithms have lately been in my favor, there will be a card in the corner and a link in the description to join my Patreon. All I ask is $1 a month. No tiers, no thrills, no giveaways. It'll just help me continue to bringing you reviews like this, and maybe some other cool stuff down the line. With all that said, it's your old pal Chuck for Kraken and Lobclaw, or Lobclow. I have no idea if they misprint on the packaging. We will see you next time. Release the Kraken!